Well, hi. I'm making this video for my friend Bobby, who just had his birthday recently. And his daughter Jill asked me to make a video. And I made a video, but I couldn't send it to him or send it to her so she could give it to him. So I'm gonna put it out on YouTube on Grandpa Ricky's channel, and then I'll tell him that it's there. So I met you, Bobby, in, I don't know, 1967 or 66. Jill had just come back from the hospital. Jill and Ellen had just come back from the hospital, and I was taken to your apartment by Joanne, and I was really impressed with just the three of you. I was super impressed with Ellen, who was so gracious, and her hair was long then and red, and you were so gracious and kind and thoughtful. Both of you were. And you were also humorous, and you were also optimistic, and you both had a ironic sense of humor. And Jill was about this big. And then over the years, our friendship grew through Joanne, and we went up to Kettleby and had the dream of let's buy the whole town. And I was thinking, with what? But you were a big thinker, and you could figure stuff like that out. And I'm sorry we didn't. I'm sorry that got stalled in all in your being a young father, and Ellen being a young mother, and Joanne and I being in a young relationship, and then her job, and then going to school, and my schooling job. And I remember the day you came to one of my classes and you taught a lesson. And then afterwards, and it was a good lesson. I thought you did very well for your first crack at it, you know? But you had very high standards for yourself, like I know you have inside. And I salute those high standards. Bob, it's one of the wonderful things about you, and also about your ability to laugh at yourself and the self-deprecating humor. And you know, to be self-deprecating is a sign that you're pretty comfortable with yourself, or you've learned to cover up your low self-esteem by being self-deprecating, which would make you look like you have high self-esteem. But anyway, that's, you know, thinking by half. And I have so many great memories of coming over to your home and just with your friends and sitting around and the purple haze and the music, and remember film nights, like the showing slides and stuff, and it was really great for me to see through your eyes. And then you would say things like, well, I had to cull through 100 slides to get this one good one. And I was like, wow. And so your particularness, your attention to detail, just was inspiring for me. And I was frankly very jealous of your attention to detail, and jealous of your optimism. And I used to relish those times, and the food that Ellen would produce. Oh my God, and just the laughter and the hanging out. And it was like, it was a freedom environment for me. Just relax. Whoever you were that night, be our guest. And I remember once you gave me some advice on how I could have a lot of money when I retire, and I didn't follow it. But I thought that it was brilliant, and I've told other people, and they've tried it, and it's working for them. You know, the one about picking out 5 stocks, buying a stock on on through a broker, and then when you can afford to buy the next stock, you buy that one and that one and that one, and you're looking to hang on to them for a long time. So you got to ask a lot of questions and get people to help you pick out the right stock, and then you bought the stock from the broker every time you bought it, not from the broker, from the company. And anytime they declared a dividend or they split the stocks up, you just plowed it all back and plowed it all back. And you know, I don't have many regrets in my life, but not not following your advice is turning out to be one of the growing regrets. and and you know, I trust spirit, and I've always had just enough. You used to say, you know, if you've got enough, that's great. And if you have just not enough, that's not great. And, yeah. Then I remember the canoe trip. God, I had a good time. And I tasted my first mango and had the funniest experience with your pal, our pal Joel, wherever he is now. But the highlight was when I lost my temper at your optimism and your perspective that the world was getting better. And I have to tell you, you're right. Even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, it's getting better because there are fewer people dying in this pandemic than any other. And the nice thing is, everybody's suffering, and everybody knows that everybody's suffering. And maybe the leadership in countries will become more protective of the people. Who knows? But I felt badly about that, about losing my composure, and it's was a very good thing for lesson for me in retrospect. That whenever I alter my consciousness in any way, fatigue, hunger, loneliness. There's a couple more. Uh, uh, it's not good for me, and too much coffee isn't good for me. Too much chocolate's not, you know, anything that alters my consciousness. And so I apologize once again. I know I've apologized before, but I do it again. And I got to tell you that the Pachamama Alliance, which I'm associated with, uh, have done a lot of research into, is the world getting better or worse? And also, there's a guy on TED Talk, and his son, he's dead now, where he makes these PowerPoint presentations with statistics of how the world is getting better uh, uh, across the world. And in some places, it's still pretty bad, pretty uncomfortable, and not very safe. Um, but you are a visionary, Robert. You're also a warrior. You go after stuff, like you're going after the land use and raising money for kids' instruments and lessons and things. And you always said you wanted to write a book, and you did. And I love you, and I've said that to you, and a couple of times you've been surprised, but um, you inspire me. My hair is still straight, uh, and I think you've still got more hair than I have. Um, and let's see, there's another thing about when you came out to California a couple of times, and we were driving along down Highway 1. Oh, it was sweet time, and I hope you come back. Um, and there was a picture you took of Ellen that really showed me what a great photographer you are. And that was of her sitting in a window in a cottage that you'd rented somewhere. And she was very pensive. She was reading or doing something, writing a letter or something, but it was the most loving picture. It was like, and so kind. So You're also a healer, because you've certainly healed me. And you've certainly done a lot of very wonderful things for a whole lot of people with kindness and treating people with respect and helping people. I remember when I built a house on the island and how you managed to manifest siding for the house that I could afford, and I thank you for that. And I thank you for being a teacher. And anybody in my world who is a warrior and a visionary and a healer and a teacher, they have my highest respect. And I have recently realized that's one of the things that I love about you. And I think everybody, all my friends and pals, I'm only surrounded now by people who are healers and teachers and warriors and visionaries. And, you and I talked about the importance of community, and we talked about suffering. And how you don't like to wear your emotions on your sleeve. And I've come to respect that a lot. And, because we were our friends, or closer friends then, because we were closer, I remember sitting listening to your pains and your sufferings. And I respect how you do that. So that's the video. And there's a million other things that I want to say, but just your one final thing was I really respect how you have practiced fighting ageism by taking buildings that everybody else wants to tear down and fixing them up and making them beautiful again. And making videos and thinking about you makes me beautiful again. More beautiful now, I think, that I can feel than I have ever felt. And these years of my life, these last years of my life, I'm having the best time because I'm able to enjoy. And again, that's a lesson I learned from you. You taught me, along with other people, how to enjoy and how to celebrate and how to notice and how to feel and how to express. I like it. I don't like it. With passion. So thank you, Robert. And keep on. And what is that British saying? Stay calm and keep on. So love you, love you, love you. Happy birthday. Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bobby Robert. Happy birthday to you. And I want to point out to you that you are just going into the middle of your old age, your middle of your elderhood. So stay healthy because you've converted your fears into wisdoms.